Hi, everyone. This is Gail McGovern, and I have the privilege of serving as the President and CEO of the American Red Cross. I am very sorry that I can't be with you in person, but I'm thankful that I can at least speak to you virtually to express my deep appreciation for all that you do to support us. I'm grateful for this opportunity to share my profound gratitude for your incredible generosity to help those we serve. Without a doubt, I can say the last 2 years have been the most challenging during my tenure at the Red Cross. We've dealt with unprecedented disaster activity, civil unrest, seemingly constant and urgent need for blood, and of course the pandemic. But despite the challenges we faced, I continue to be amazed by our Red Cross community. Time and time again, you've stepped up to alleviate suffering in the face of emergencies. In December, when deadly tornadoes tore through Kentucky and 4 other states, our teams wasted no time getting to the affected areas to provide food, water, safe shelter, and care for all who needed it. And hundreds of volunteers selflessly worked through the holiday season. All year, disasters seemed to be constant, and so was the demand for blood and the need to provide it quickly and safely. During the waves of hospitalizations due to the pandemic, the demand for blood was erratic all year, and we were able to meet the needs of hospitals despite these challenges. Our blood donors are so generous and selfless. They never cease to amaze me. They are true humanitarians. And at the same time, we were working hard to fulfill the needs of our hospitals. Our biomedical team has been developing a brand new state-of-the-art cloud-based blood management system. And this system will revolutionize the way we collect and process blood. I'm proud to say that the Red Cross is embracing innovation and new technology across the other parts of our mission too. We're working more efficiently and effectively than ever before. We have new platforms for our military veterans and their families, for helping vulnerable communities to prevent home fires, and for providing first aid and CPR training to millions of Americans. The Red Cross is a 140-year-old American institution with a mission that hasn't changed, alleviating suffering in the face of emergencies. But the way we deliver that mission to bring comfort and hope to countless families and individuals has continued to improve and evolve in creative and innovative ways. This is possible because of our wonderful network of visionaries, colleagues, donors, and volunteers. And I am so very grateful that you continue to join us on this journey. Now more than ever, the nation and the world need the American Red Cross. And none of our life-saving work, none of it, would be possible without you. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you again for your steadfast support. Please enjoy this special program, and I hope to see you all again soon. Thank you.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Heroes in the Heartland. I'm Daniela Vitable with WOWT. It's a pleasure to be here with you today to recognize some incredible acts of heroism and amazing service to our community. This is the 21st year that the Red Cross of the Omaha Council Bluffs metro area has honored local citizens with the Heroes in the Heartland event. This is a wonderful celebration as we honor ordinary people from our own community who have done extraordinary things. We were hoping to hold this event in person this year, but the difficult decision was made to hold today's celebration virtually for the second consecutive year. The important part of today's event is not how we're meeting, it's why we're gathering. The opportunity to honor heroism while also raising money for the Red Cross is why we're here today. Heroes in the Heartland is made possible thanks to several companies and individuals who are generous supporters of the Red Cross and its mission. Today's sponsors are listed right there on your screen. We're so grateful for your support of this event, and for all that you do to advance the Red Cross mission. The money raised today will help replace 3 of the Red Cross Blood Services fleet vehicles, which transport staff, equipment, and donated blood. Your support today will help ensure that the Red Cross can continue to collect life-saving blood all across our area 7 days a week. As we go through today's program, you have the opportunity to support the Red Cross. On the left side of your screen, you'll see some options for making a donation, and you can make your gift while watching today's program. If you're watching us on a mobile device, you will need to exit full screen, then scroll down to make a donation. You could also text the word Nebraska Heroes, that's one word, to 76278. I hope you will consider making a donation today. Let's jump right into recognizing our heroes. Each of the individuals that we're recognizing today, while they might not be comfortable being called one, fit the description of a hero. I'm so excited to share these stories with you. Before we meet our first hero, I would like to welcome in Megan Barry Barlow from Nebraska Furniture Mart.
The goals and values of the Red Cross and NFM are tightly aligned. The Red Cross ensures all Americans have access to life-saving blood and blood products. NFM supports that effort by sponsoring blood drives throughout the year for both our employees and our customers. The Red Cross and NFM also share a steadfast commitment to diversity. In the month of February, NFM celebrates Black History Month and designates specific blood drives to focus on sickle cell disease. NFM and the Red Cross partner to expand education and increase blood donations from African American and Latino donors because it is critical to have a diverse group of blood donors to ensure that we are able to help all patients. For those reasons and so many others, Nebraska Furniture Mart will continue to be a loyal partner to the Red Cross. Thank you.
I'm Tyrone Carter. I work for Methodist Hospital. I'm a stationary engineer's apprentice there. I've been with Methodist for a total of 2.5 years now. One of the managers, they wanted me to experience the night shift, so I'm usually a daytime employee there, and he wanted me to kind of get some training on the night shift. I made lunch for the night, and I ended up leaving it on my countertop. When I got hungry, I'm like, well, might as well go up to the cafeteria. You know, they're open at midnight. And when I went up there, it's a pretty quiet night, you know, not really crowded or anything in there. And there was a guy that came up. I didn't know he was standing behind me. And once I ordered my food, he came up to order and he just fell backwards. He went into seizure activity. His eyes were just focused up on the ceiling and, you know, no blinking or anything like that. And no pulse, no rising and falling of his chest. It's a pretty scary moment. I had one of the guys call for a medical emergency, and while he was calling, I just, you know, began chest compressions. I kept compressions going until our crash team got there, which probably about 3 minutes, probably 3 or 4 minutes. Kind of shocked him with the AED, and finally got a pulse back.
Hi, my name is Richard Navarez. I've got a wife and 2 kids. When I had the heart failure, it really surprised. It kind of threw me for a loop.
And he even said, you know what, if I was any other place at any other time, I wouldn't be here.
Everything could have changed in an instant. It, makes me reflect a bit more upon, looking forward. I'd say he saved my life.
I didn't know him, but I knew I was rooting for him to pull through. So, do I consider myself a hero? Inside, I would say no. But knowing that Richard is alive, if that's the title that's given to me, then I gracefully accept it.
What a great way to kick off our program today. That story is a great reminder of the importance of knowing CPR. The Red Cross offers CPR training along with courses that teach other life saving skills. I encourage you to visit redcross.org to learn more. Now, I would like to introduce Jill Orton. Jill is a Nebraska native who has more than 25 years of service with the Red Cross. She has served as the executive director for the Omaha Council Bluffs Metro chapter since 2014 and is the CEO for the Nebraska and Iowa region of the Red Cross. Good afternoon, Jill.
Danielle, thank you for this introduction. We're excited to have you back as our MC again this year. I want to thank WOWT for serving as our media sponsor. WOWT has been very helpful in spotlighting this event, and we appreciate our partnership. We are honored to have many distinguished guests joining us today. We traditionally recognize elected and appointed officials in attendance, but that is not easy to do in this virtual experience. But I want to say thank you. We don't take for granted the support we get from our elected officials. You are greatly appreciated. Additionally, I want to take a moment to thank our volunteers and staff. As the pandemic has continued on, you all have been willing and able to adapt and rethink how we deliver our mission. The commitment of our team never wavered. Our workforce remained focused on serving our community in a compassionate manner. To that end, I want to share a story with you. In December, an apartment fire in North Omaha resulted in our team opening a shelter to accommodate displaced residents. Among those staying at the shelter were a couple of young children. One of our team members asked the children what they wanted to be when they grew up. One of the kids said, quote, "I want to be just like you so I can help people." Hearing this story confirms to me that our team is making a difference. Our volunteers and staff provide care and comfort to families who are going through challenging times. Often, when families experience a disaster, such as a home fire, what they need most is someone who can give them hope that things will get better, and our volunteers and staff do just that. In the last year, we helped more than 250 families following home fires or other disasters in the metro area. We are seeing a steady increase in disasters over recent years, which is putting a strain on our volunteers. I want to make a pitch to you today. If you are not already volunteering, I encourage you to consider becoming a Red Cross volunteer. We have opportunities for everyone. In many instances, our volunteers find that they benefit from the volunteer experience just as much as those they serve. I also want to thank those who made financial contributions to ensure that we could address and can address regularly the needs of our community. The generosity we continue to see is so appreciated. Finally, thank you to everyone who is joining us today. I always look forward to honoring the heroes, and I am so happy that you joined us for this special event. Now, I would like to welcome in our board chair, Greg Key. I am so appreciative of the leadership we have with a very engaged board of directors led by Greg. Thank you, Greg, for being a great partner this year. You have played an important role in guiding us through an extremely busy, complex year.
Jill, thank you for the kind introduction and for being a great leader for Red Cross. I am proud to serve with an invested and collaborative board of directors. We're able to fulfill the Red Cross mission throughout the Omaha Council Bluffs metro area due to the engagement of this outstanding group. You can see our board members listed on the screen. These individuals are actively involved in the mission of the Red Cross. Thank you for your dedication and willingness to serve. I want to echo Jill's comments about the outstanding work of the Red Cross volunteers and staff. Jill discussed the disaster activities of this past year. In addition to that, volunteers and staff of the Omaha Council Bluffs chapter helped collect more than 60,000 units of blood throughout almost 2,000 blood drives. Additionally, more than 2,000 services were provided to military members, veterans, and their families, and nearly 10,000 people were trained in life-saving skills such as first aid, CPR, and AED. Today, we have an opportunity to support these services. I encourage you to consider giving to make certain that the Red Cross can make a difference in our community for years to come. I want to add my congratulations to all of the heroes we're recognizing today. These stories are exceptional. It's an honor to be part of today's program, and I thank you all for joining us. It's just about time to meet our second hero, but first, let's hear from Todd Foji from Great Plains Communications.
Hi, well, thank you for joining us today. My personal experience as CEO of Great Plains Communications was as a youth in the swimming and the safety programs the Red Cross sponsors, and as an adult, I got involved in other ways. I saw firsthand the good work that the Red Cross does as a board member and volunteer. But in terms of our company, Great Plains Communications, we have a lot of communities in the heartland that the Red Cross provides services to. We're a very community-involved organization, so we see the American Red Cross as a partner here in the heartland and supporting those communities for whatever their needs might be, whether it's blood services, training, healthcare, safety, a variety of all the services the Red Cross provides. So thank you very much. We're big supporters, big fans, and keep up the good work.
Jim was a bundle of energy. He was Mr. Optimism all the time. Jim was the kind of guy that would get up in the morning and run down the steps.
We had a lot of energy. He was passionate about teaching and athletic training. He was witty. He was smart. Loved his family. He was just a good guy.
Jim was the consummate competitor. He lived life looking for adventure.
When you rode bikes with Jim, you knew that you had to start fast because he always started fast.
He kind of prided himself, I think, in the classroom to make everything fun. He taught physiology, and he always taught the kids ways to remember things for the test, and he was just energetic.
Jim was not opposed to suddenly jumping on a table in the middle of a class to get kids' attention.
He said that in his later years, as he was getting a little older, he actually didn't make it on top of the whole table, and he hurt his leg, and he said, "I don't think I can do that anymore."
My dad always gave blood, always donated, and I'm not sure exactly when Jim picked it up, but he started having blood drives at the high schools that he was at. He kind of formed the HOSA Club, the Health Occupation Students of America, and they kind of ran that. And it became his passion, so every year he would run the blood drives.
I think Jim was kind of a go big or go home sort of guy, and so when he saw the opportunity to do the blood drive, I think he wanted to do it and involve as many kids as possible, and obviously then get as many donations as possible. So he would do fun things with it, like what blood drive have you been to where they have pancakes in the morning? Jim would always have pancakes. And then he would do a wall called the Bloody Wall of Fame, where the kids who gave blood would finally get their name on the wall. So he would just do these fun things that I think involved kids, made kids excited. I taught at Millard West for a while, and the energy level and the interest of the kids leading up to that was really interesting and really fun.
Jim took great pride in his blood drives. After he died, we contacted the Red Cross because we wanted to know how many blood drives did Jim do? How many units of blood did he collect in his lifetime? And we found that he actually had 54 blood drives. He collected like 4,300 units of blood during that time. And we calculated that could have impacted 13,000 lives. So when you look at it that way, I think it really tells how much Jim really cared about the community and how much he wanted to make a difference.
It's about donating blood, but for him it was also about having the students he worked with exhibit their leadership, know service, give back to people.
I think as far as Millard West goes, of course, times change and a lot of the students that are there don't know Jim, but this blood drive has continued. It has his name on it. We keep hearing from athletes that, went to college and even some professional athletes who knew Jim and worked with him and have always, written really nice things about how much he inspired them and how much he cared for them and how, what he meant in their life.
He's been gone 8 years and he's still remembered. And I think about the impact that he had in the community and how many lives potentially he saved by doing these blood drives. And he was just a good guy. Jim was just a good guy.
He's a hero of mine, being able to accomplish what he did.
It means a lot that after 8 years, people still think of him. That speaks a lot to his legacy. He would be proud.
And thank you to the Johnsons family for helping us tell Jim's story. That is a great reminder about the importance of giving blood. Of course, there are opportunities every day for you to donate blood. Just visit redcrossblood.org to find a blood drive near you. We have 2 more hero stories to share with you, but first, I want to take a moment to discuss opportunities for you to support the Red Cross. Whether it's responding to a home fire or natural disaster, providing blood to hospitals, or teaching life-saving skills, the Red Cross continues to do an incredible job of improving the quality of life in our community. At times, the work of the Red Cross may be taken for granted. However, if the Red Cross is unable to perform its work, we as a community would certainly feel the pain and burden of its absence. It's critical that the American Red Cross remains vibrant and active in our community. The Red Cross exists through the generosity of donors. The financial support of some large contributors are very much appreciated, but you'll be interested to know that a high percentage of the annual budget of the Red Cross is funded by relatively small contributions from thousands of people who recognize the broad scope of services provided by the Red Cross and its volunteers. All donations make a difference. For several months, the Red Cross has been working hard to overcome a national blood shortage. Dozens of blood drives are held every week throughout the Omaha Council Bluffs metro area. Today, we're raising money to replace 3 vehicles that will help address critical needs of the Red Cross. These vehicles transport staff, equipment, and donated blood to and from these blood drives. The only source of blood for patients who need transfusions is from donors who graciously give at donation centers or these blood drives. There are several factors that must all come together for a blood drive to be successful. Having a robust and reliable fleet of vehicles is one important factor. I hope you will consider making a donation to support this vital component of the blood collection efforts of the Red Cross. A reminder that on the left side of your screen that you'll see some options for making a donation, and you're able to make your gift while viewing today's program. If you're watching us on a mobile device, you'll need to exit full screen, then scroll down to make a donation. You could also text Nebraska Heroes, that's one word, to 76278. Your gift will make a difference. Now let's check in on those donations that are coming in right now. We have a bunch of people who are donating right now. We have American National Bank, We have David Clemens. Look at that. We have a goal of $150,000. And right now we're at a little over $137,000. That's just incredible. Keep those donations coming in. And a big thank you to all of you out there who are donating right now. There are many people who made this event possible. Moments ago, we heard from board chair Greg Key. Greg is CEO of Leader Construction in Omaha. Greg and Leader Construction are longtime supporters of the Red Cross. Because of that dedication, the Heroes in the Heartland Planning Committee selected Greg as this year's honorary chair for this event. Let's hear a little more about Greg and Leader Construction.
You know, the community has supported Leader Construction for almost 140 years now. And we firmly believe that it's important that we as a company give back to the community. For me, over the course of my life, I've had plenty of opportunities to see the Red Cross at work. I mean, you can even go back to as far as when I was a little kid and took swim lessons from the Red Cross and built a project in South Florida and saw the effects of a hurricane down there and how involved Red Cross got. I've been in the after effects of tornadoes in Kansas and seen Red Cross. And then just, everybody knows the blood mission. And how critical the blood supply is. And so, as you look at the Red Cross mission, really it's all about alleviating suffering in a time of need. But even more so, I think it's about positively impacting lives, and that's our mission, is positively impacting lives. Just in fact, today we had a blood drive at the office. The bus was over there this morning, and I was one of the early birds to give blood, and it's fun to just be a part of that. So my grandson has a kind of a very rare autoimmune disease, and it's called ITP. His body either fights or does not make platelets. And so he has these scary moments of where his platelet count will go very, very low. And he often, or a few times, has had to be taken to the hospital to get platelets and get it back up. And he's 3 years old. He started this when he was about a year. It's something that's really in the forefront of our mind, of course, as grandparents. The ability to have platelets is a huge deal. I mean, if my grandson couldn't go in, so I'm proud to attach my name and my company to the Heroes in the Heartland, and it's always such a blessing, really, to hear the hero stories and recognize the challenges that people face and that they overcome. And you can tie that right into business. The challenges and the hurdles that people as businesses face and as the Red Cross faces, and we just keep soldiering on, and those heroes are just amazing. And so I'm really, really proud to be able to be the honorary chairman of the event and just support those heroes.
A sincere thank you to Greg and Leader Construction, not only for their support of today's event, but for all the years of support for the Red Cross. Before we get to our next hero story, let's hear from Steve Knapp of Core Bank.
I support the Red Cross because of a childhood memory I've had sitting at my mom's bedside as she was battling cancer. During her battle, she received blood transfusions that were collected and supplied by the American Red Cross. Without those blood transfusions, I'm not sure how long my mom would have been able to survive. Beyond the blood work that American Red Cross does, I'm a strong supporter of their annual event, Sound the Alarm, where we install free smoke alarms in houses that either don't have smoke alarms or they may not be working. In addition to the smoke alarm, we provide education to the entire family in case of a fire, where they can meet after and outside of the house, and they're safe. So I really enjoy both of those events, and that's why I like the Red Cross so much.
I'm Detective Tyler Andall. I'm with Bellevue Police Department. I've been on for a couple years.
I'm Robert Markby. It was December 18th, the morning of.
It was really early in the morning. I think it was like around 5 a.m. We get off at 6:30, so it was kind of near the end of shift. I heard the rescue tones come out, and they stated it was a code 99, which is CPR in progress. Wasn't my district, but I was really close. I beat fire department there, so I was the first one on scene. The daughter ran out of the house and waved me in, and I went inside, and I saw her laying on the floor. She was having agonal breathing. I checked for a pulse, didn't feel one, and so at that time I began CPR. I called out that I was doing CPR, and I heard Officer Markby. He was just down the road, so I knew he'd be there in a minute or so.
We all just got AEDs for our cruisers, so I was like, you never know when you're going to need it. I've had to take my AED into a couple calls before. When I went inside, they were upstairs in the hallway. It was a very hectic scene. There was a daughter and a son. They were there, a couple dogs in the bedroom that were barking, stuff like that. And then husband, obviously it was a stressful situation because they had no idea what was happening.
Continued to do CPR. He brought in the AED, the defibrillator, and we hooked up the pads. Continued CPR until the machine told us to back away like it does. And it gave her a shock, and we continued CPR. I think Officer Markby took over CPR at that point. Continued CPR until Bellevue Fire and Rescue arrived on scene. I think they shocked her maybe one or two more times to try to get the rhythm back in the heart. They announced that she had a heartbeat again, and they transported her to Bellevue Medical Center.
There are some calls where we go to where people don't know how to do basic CPR. And it may not be that they don't know how, it's because they're in a mental state where they can't function properly because of the stress. So when we go to calls like that, we definitely just do what we need to do, because that, Officer Andall said seconds count, and you just handle the call, and you don't really think of emotions at the time. You gotta handle business. She actually got to go home right before Christmas, so it was pretty nice to see that as like the family Christmas gift.
I think it was a great teamwork experience. Like, we each had our own part. I think we're all just kind of connected for that moment.
Thank you, Officers Andall and Markby, for your actions on that day and for what you do every day in serving our community. Just a reminder to keep those donations coming in. Every dollar raised today will go to support the Red Cross. We have one more hero story to share, but first, here's Amy Wheeler from American National Bank.
Hi, I'm Amy Wheeler, Director of Risk Management at American National Bank and Red Cross board member. As a community bank, American National is called by a higher purpose to give back to the places we call home, and that is why we invest time and energy to make our communities better, just like the Red Cross does each and every day through its tireless work to help people in our community.
Hi, I'm Jason Hansen, President at American National Bank. In the past 2 years alone, we have impacted more than 435 lives through our 5 annual blood drives aimed at helping the ever-present need. As an avid donor myself, I promise this act of kindness makes a meaningful difference. Why? Because changing someone's life for the better matters.
On September 25th, 2020, I met my hero. His name is Frank.
Frank Axiotis, reside in Elkhorn, Nebraska, married to my wife Shelley, and have 2 kids, Zach and Lexi.
What could have been a death experience turned into something that makes me believe and know that there are heroes in this world.
We were doing college visits that day, and on our way back to Omaha, we were just driving on the interstate, and as we were approaching the 27th Street exit, I noticed the semi in oncoming traffic made an erratic move and hit a white Trailblazer and smashed it up against the Jersey barrier, and immediately it caught flames.
Our car was pinned up against a concrete barrier. Due to all the metal crashing together, a fire started.
I immediately pull over to the right onto the shoulder, told my wife to call 911 immediately, put the hazards on, exited the vehicle, and then I kind of waved to the traffic to stop so I can run across.
It was at that point that my hero arrived.
So I was able to pull Lucas out of the back seat, and I told him to stay close by. Maddie was trapped, and the windshield was cracked, and so I immediately started trying to punch through the windshield with my bare hand, and it was getting cut up quite a bit when I realized that I had my pocket knife that had a glass break on it. So I'm making a hole with my knife, and I get a hole about that size, and I put my boot through the hole, and here I am trying to pull back against her. And then as I was occupied doing that, another bystander came, and then the 2 of us together were, both able to pull her out. The flames engulfed the vehicles before the paramedics and the fire department was even able to get there. I mean, it was just unreal.
I have been able to meet with my hero Frank since that time. He is a great person that I feel I will always have in my life and heart.
Thank God that they're okay, and we were all able to walk away from that. There was no way I was going to walk away from that, not being able to get them out of the vehicle.
I told him that he was a hero and that I loved him. He told me he loved me too. I hope that in the future there are a lot more people that do good things like Frank, as heroes are needed in this world.
I just consider myself a person at the right place at the right time. I'm just a father, a husband, and a coworker, and just somebody that was in the right place at the right time. So I mean, everybody around me tells me I'm a hero, but I just, I did what I would have wished somebody would have done if my kids were in that same situation. So it's good that every time I drive by there, I can say everybody's okay.
Wow, what a heartwarming story. And what a great essay from Lucas about Frank, who is a hero in every sense of the word. This has been an inspiring time together. These hero stories come at a time when we could use more stories of people helping others. A big thank you to all of our honorees today for what you have done to positively impact the lives of others. Now let's check in on the donations that are coming in. Take a look right now. A big thank you to Jed Johnston. We have Emily Combe, Judith Maddock, Jill Reiner. Of course, those are just a couple of the names. You can see a lot of people there donating. Need to get to that goal, $150,000. So close there. Keep those donations coming in. Once again, all of this money goes right back to helping our community. Well, if you have a donation that you want to make, but you haven't done so, just check out the left side of the screen for an opportunity to give. A reminder that if you are on a mobile device, you will need to exit full screen, then scroll down to make a donation. If you're watching a recording of this event and you want to donate, the text to give option is the best way to do that. Text the word Nebraska Heroes to 76278. As we get ready to bring our event to a close, I would like to welcome in Red Cross Board Philanthropy Chair Amy Olson.
Thank you, Danielle, for helping us showcase this year's Heroes in the Heartland. I want to thank the team at Reimagine Experiences for producing this virtual event today and making it a wonderful success. I also want to thank Nate Gassaway of Goswin Virtual Marketing for creating the hero videos we saw today. To our sponsors and donors, as always, thank you. The Red Cross makes a difference in our community because of the generous support you provide. And a heartfelt thank you once again to Greg Key for serving as our event honorary chair, and to Leader Construction for its gracious support of the Red Cross. March is Red Cross Month, a time when we recognize and appreciate our volunteers, supporters, and blood donors. It is also a time to raise awareness of the organization's mission, which is to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies. The dedication of volunteers and, of course, the generosity of donors makes this all possible. If you aren't already, I encourage you to consider becoming a Red Cross volunteer, blood donor, or financial supporter. Please consider this opportunity to make a difference. It's such a wonderful way to serve our community. Thank you all for being part of today's celebration.
Thank you, Amy. This has been a wonderful event and a pleasure to be with you and all of you joining us. Thank you for joining the 21st Annual Heroes in the Heartland. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
In 2021, families faced emergency needs amid the COVID-19 pandemic, the effects of climate change, and conflict around the globe. This year marked one of the country's most active years for severe weather, which battered many communities still reeling from last year's disasters. Around the world, an increasing number of families were displaced by conflict and other challenges. And every day, hospital patients in the U.S. needed life-saving blood to battle illness and injury. That's why we're grateful for our volunteers, donors, and partners who make our critical work possible every day across the country. You helped provide shelter, food, and comfort for disaster survivors. You helped provide medical assistance, emotional support, and relief items for evacuees from Afghanistan and others in need. And you helped provide life-saving blood for accident and burn victims, heart surgery and organ transplant patients, and those receiving treatment for leukemia, cancer, or sickle cell disease. Thank you for answering the call to help and to care for one another this year.